Silas began inviting her to private meetings, always in strange, empty places, cafes closed for the night, parking garages where his voice echoed. He spoke of order, discipline, control, painting himself as the only one strong enough to protect their kind. Elena listened, nodded, even echoed his words when he expected it. But inside, she was memorizing his routines, his allies, his weaknesses. Each lie tasted bitter, but she told herself it was necessary. Yet every time she returned to Mia's apartment, she felt the strain growing. Mia hardly spoke to her anymore. The distance cut deeper than Silas's threats ever could. One night, Mia finally snapped. "You're changing. And not in the way you think. This isn't bravery anymore, it's obsession. He's pulling you in and you don't even see it." Elena swallowed hard, fighting the sting in her chest. "You don't understand. If I walk away, we all lose. If I stay, I can stop him." Mia shook her head. "Or he'll stop you." Elena turned away, but the words followed her like a curse. That weekend, Seraphine rushed to her with news. "Silas is planning something." A reveal. "He's chosen a target, and if we don't stop him, someone's life will be ruined before Monday." Elena's blood ran cold. This was the moment she'd been dreading. "Who's the target?" she whispered. Seraphine's eyes brimmed with fear. "It's you, Elena. He's coming for you first." Elena felt the floor tilt beneath her. "Me?" she whispered. "He's going to expose me?" Seraphine nodded, her expression grave. "He sees you as the linchpin. Break you, and the sanctuary collapses. The others will scatter in fear." Adrian clenched his fists. "I knew it." He never believed her allegiance. This whole time, he was waiting to make an example of her. Elena's mind raced. Every late-night meeting with Silas, every cryptic line about masks slipping, it all fit now. He hadn't trusted her. He'd been setting her up. "When?" Elena asked, her voice steadier than she felt. "Tomorrow," Seraphine said. "He's planning to leak the photos. Not just of you, but of Ethan too. Both lives exposed at once." The words landed like a hammer. If Silas revealed Ethan's identity, there would be no more hiding. Professors, classmates, even family back home, they would all know. Both selves destroyed in one stroke. Adrian paced furiously. "We can intercept him before it happens. Take the photos, and his leverage." Seraphine shook her head. "It's not just photos anymore. He's digital now. Cloud backups, scheduled releases. He's prepared." Elena pressed her palms to her temples. "Think. There has to be a way." Mia's voice replayed in her mind. "He'll stop you." For the first time, doubt gnawed at her resolve. Was she already too deep in his game to win? Adrian gripped her shoulder. "We hit him head-on. Confront him in front of the others. Show them what he is. If he loses the crowd, he loses everything." Seraphine added quietly, "But it has to be you. He framed this as your story. Only you can turn it back on him." Elena swallowed hard, feeling the weight of both names pressing down on her. Ethan, who feared discovery, and Elena, who had stood against Silas once before. Finally, she lifted her chin. "Then tomorrow night, we will end this. No more masks. No more shadows. If Silas wants to expose me, I'll expose him first." Adrian's eyes narrowed. "That's suicide." Elena shook her head. "No, it's survival." But even as she said it, a chill ran down her spine. Because deep down, she knew Silas wouldn't fall easily. And whatever tomorrow brought, it wouldn't just decide her fate, it would decide the sanctuary's future. The following night, the sanctuary gathered in the warehouse. Lanterns glowed brighter than usual, but the mood was heavy, tense. Everyone had heard whispers. Silas was preparing to reveal his truth. Elena stood near the center, the crimson gown flowing around her like armor. Her heart pounded, but her face remained calm. She had to look unshakable, even if inside she was anything but. Adrian hovered nearby, a hawk scanning the room for threats. Seraphine gave her a reassuring squeeze on the arm. "They'll listen to you. Just speak, and they'll see Silas for what he is." But doubt gnawed at Elena. What if they didn't? What if Silas had already poisoned their faith? The heavy doors creaked open. Silas strode in, flanked by two masked figures. His white mask gleamed under the lantern light, every step deliberate. "Friends," he began, his voice carrying effortlessly, "tonight we unmask the lies. Tonight we shed the illusions that bind us." He held up a small device, a tablet connected to a projector. The wall behind him flickered to life, showing a blurred photo of Elena slipping into Mia's apartment. Gasps erupted through the crowd. "This," Silas said smoothly, "is the so-called leader you cheer for. A pretender. A fraud. A mask behind a mask." Elena stepped forward, forcing her voice to cut through the murmur. "Yes, that's me. And I won't deny it. But you call it fraud, I call it truth. Every one of us here hides, because the world outside forces us to. But that doesn't make us liars. It makes us survivors." The crowd shifted, murmuring. Some nodded. Others looked uneasy. Silas's tone sharpened. "And what happens when survival turns into weakness? When one slip destroys us all? Do you want to stake your safety on her mistakes?" Elena's pulse hammered. This was it, the knife's edge. She lifted her chin. "You call it weakness. I call it courage. If my mask slips, I'll face it. But I won't let you use fear to rule us." A rumble of approval rolled through the sanctuary. Hope flickered in their eyes. For a moment, Elena thought she had turned the tide. Then a voice rang out from the crowd. "She's lying." The crowd parted. And there stood Mia. Elena's breath caught. "Mia." Mia's eyes glistened, but her jaw was set. "You've changed, Elena. You think you're saving them, but you're just feeding Silas's game. You're leading them into a trap, and I won't let you." The sanctuary erupted in chaos, shouts, gasps, accusations. Adrian cursed under his breath. Silas only stood taller, his mask turning toward Elena with cold satisfaction. Her anchor. Her closest ally. The one person she thought she could always count on had just turned against her. The warehouse roared with voices, some shouting in Elena's defense, others demanding answers from Mia. The lantern light flickered like fire, shadows twisting across the walls as chaos spread. Elena's throat went dry. She pushed through the crowd until she stood face to face with Mia. "Why?" Elena whispered, her voice breaking. "Why would you side with him?" Mia's eyes glistened, but her jaw stayed tight. "Because you're not the same person anymore. You're obsessed with fighting Silas, with playing his game. You don't see it, Elena, you're becoming him." The words sliced deeper than Silas's threats ever could. Silas spread his arms, feeding on the discord. "See how even her closest friend sees the truth? You all cling to illusions of safety, but safety requires order. My order." Adrian stepped forward, fury etched into every line of his face. "She's not becoming him. She's becoming stronger than him." He turned to the crowd, raising his voice. "Silas watches, threatens, and manipulates. Elena stood up when no one else would. Who really deserves your trust?" The sanctuary wavered, torn between two visions, Silas's cold control and Elena's fragile courage. Elena looked at Mia, desperate. "I'm not your enemy. I need you with me, not against me." Mia's voice shook. "I need you safe. But if you keep walking this path, I'll lose you. And I can't watch that happen." Her words echoed like a plea, but Silas seized the moment. He tapped his tablet and the projector behind him flickered again, this time showing a photo of Elena, mid-transformation, half Ethan, half Elena. Gasps cut through the crowd like knives. The image felt like a wound laid bare. "This is who she is," Silas declared, his tone triumphant. "Not a leader. Not savior. Just another mask waiting to crack. And when it does, all of you will fall with her." The room trembled with uncertainty. Some members looked horrified, others defiant. The sanctuary was splitting apart before her eyes. Elena's chest burned. This was the moment Silas had engineered all along, to pit them against each other until fear did his work for him. But even through the humiliation, even through Mia's betrayal, something inside Elena hardened. She would not let him win. She stepped forward, her voice rising above the noise. "Yes, that's me. Ethan and Elena. Both are real. Both mine. And I won't be ashamed of either. If you think exposing me will break me, you're wrong. Because I'm done hiding. The crowd fell silent. Even Mia froze, her lips parted in shock. Silas's mask tilted slightly as if recalculating. For the first time, he hadn't anticipated her move. Elena's hands trembled, but her voice was steady. So here I am. No masks. No secrets. And I'm still standing. Can you say the same, Silas? The silence after Elena's declaration was electric. The warehouse seemed to hold its breath, every lantern flame bending toward her as if pulled by the weight of her words. Then, slowly, applause began. A single pair of hands clapping from the back of the room. Another joined. And then another. Within seconds, half the sanctuary was cheering, their voices rising in defiance. Adrian's eyes blazed with pride. Seraphine wept openly, whispering she did it. But not everyone cheered. Some remained frozen in fear, and Mia stood still, her face unreadable, torn between her terror and the spark of hope flickering in her eyes. Silas's grip on the tablet tightened. For the first time, his mask tilted downward, as if Elena's words had cracked something in him. Then, slowly, he began to clap as well, mocking, deliberate. Brave, Silas said, his voice cutting through the cheers. Very brave. But bravery without leverage is suicide. He tapped his device, and the projector flickered again, this time showing not just Elena, but a slideshow of multiple sanctuary members. Names. Faces. Locations. Every hidden life catalogued. Gasps turned into cries of panic. People reached for each other, clutching hands, sobbing. See? Silas's voice rose, triumphant. I hold all your fates in my hand. And one touch, his finger hovered over the screen, ends your sanctuary forever. The crowd's cheers faltered, drowned by terror. The power shifted back into Silas's grasp. Elena's heart hammered, but she stepped forward anyway. If you really had control, you wouldn't still be here. You'd have pressed the button already. Silas's mask turned sharply toward her. You need us to fear you, Elena continued, her voice rising. Without that, you're nothing. And I'm not afraid anymore. She lunged forward. In one swift motion, Elena snatched the tablet from his hands. The crowd gasped as Silas staggered back, momentarily stunned. Adrian grabbed Silas, pinning him against the wall. Seraphine rushed to Elena's side, eyes wide. What are you doing? Elena stared down at the device, her fingers trembling. The screen glowed with folders upon folders of stolen lives. She looked back at the sanctuary, their faces caught between terror and trust.